Today we explore many of the considerations consumers should make before selecting the brand and model of Flying Bridge cruiser. They vary widely in concept and design, so that's why our buyer's guide for them is so important to watch. Many boats have flying bridges, such as large motor yachts, convertibles, and trawlers, but for this buyer's guide, we will limit our discussion to boats between 30 feet and 70 feet that are used primarily for cruising and have a cockpit. Flying bridge boats built for big game sport fishing are called convertibles. Boats designed for long-distance cruising at displacement speed are trawlers, and we'll examine them both in separate episodes. The flying bridge has been around a long time, starting in the mid-1800s on commercial steam-powered vessels. By the 20th century, virtually every naval vessel and many commercial vessels had a flying bridge above the pilot house or main bridge. By getting the commanding officer higher and outside, vision was greatly improved. In 1934, Ernest Hemingway brought a new 38-foot Wheeler Express cruiser for $7,495. A couple of years later, he rigged his boat with one of the first flying bridges seen on a recreational powerboat. He did this in order to raise the height of eye to about 8 feet, which increased his view of the surrounding waters by 50% and allowed him to see below the surface in skinny water. Flybridge cruisers have come a long way since Hemingway's day, and now they're used not only for improved visibility, but also as a place for guests to sightsee, sunbathe, and be entertained. Further, enclosed flying bridges are growing in popularity as a low-cost way to add all-weather living space to a yacht. Since many builders offer both express cruisers and the flybridge cruisers on the same hull, buyers should carefully consider which option to take. The major advantages of a flybridge cruiser over an express cruiser are these. First, much greater visibility from the helm, and in some cases, both the bow and stern can be seen from the helm station. Second, depending on the model, there's generally quite a bit more entertaining space. This can take the form of more sunning areas, seating for sightseeing, and a table for dining and cocktail parties. Larger boats even have a wet bar, grill, and other amenities. A lot of living space is added for a relatively small upcharge over an express cruiser. Third, with the addition of a hardtop, the helm can be completely enclosed in isinglass for 3-season boating and piloting in the rain. Some large models offer enclosed helms, and even larger boats have what is known as a sky lounge with the helm forward. Some models eliminate the lower helm, thereby opening up more living space in the salon below. Fourth, in express cruisers, the captain stands only a few feet above the water and conditions may appear sloppy, but when viewed from the flying bridge, sea conditions take on a far milder character. Finally, there's nothing as thrilling as the view from a flying bridge day or night. All of these advantages do not come without a cost. Remember, all boats, no matter what the configuration, are a compromise. Perhaps the biggest drawback to a flying bridge cruiser is the ladder to get to the bridge. On smaller boats, they're sometimes nearly vertical because of a lack of deck space. Look for angled ladders and thwartship ladders, which are safer. Larger boats sometimes have flying steps in the cockpit or even inside the boat that are attractive and easy to climb. Or even a spiral staircase, which is the most secure in a seaway. Second, a flybridge cruiser inherently has a higher center of gravity. That means the boat will be less stable in nearly all conditions. Because flybridge boats are heavier and have more windage than their express cruiser counterparts, they're slower and burn more fuel with the same engines. For example, the 60 flybridge cruiser here that weighs 4,200 pounds more than its express sister lost about 1.5 knots of top speed, but only 0.7 knots at best cruise, where it burned 3.5 gallons per hour more. The advantage of flying bridge yachts is that they have greater air draft for visibility, but that becomes a disadvantage if you have low bridges to negotiate. Finally, as one would expect, flying bridge boats are more expensive than express cruisers on the same hull with the same engines. In the 1970s and 80s, traditionally designed and built flying bridges were intended for comfortable handling and safety in a seaway. Note on this 39-foot flybridge cruiser the high bulwarks amidships with fiberglass rails aft to make the bridge more secure. Inside, we see that its bulwark is about a foot above the seat, the frame of the wind deflector is 30 inches off the deck, and aft the seat back is 28 inches off the deck. At the opposite end of the spectrum, we find a flybridge cruiser that was designed for entertaining, sunning, and fair weather. Note that when the captain is standing at the wheel, he must stoop slightly to touch it. The advantage of this design is lower air draft and the sleek look of the vessel with a minimum of top hamper. Sightlines forward typically allow the bow to be seen in this flybridge design. Most flybridge cruisers have their helm forward for better visibility in front of the boat and to free up room for entertaining behind the helm. There's no one best place for the helm. Some boats have them to starboard, others to port, and some right on the center line. No matter where the helm is placed, a second pair of eyes looking forward is always important, and this allows the companion to take part in the piloting. Now let's look behind the helm at the entertaining area. First, be aware that every flybridge is designed to hold only so much weight. Overloading the flybridge can be dangerous. All seats are intended to be filled, so the more seats there are, the greater the weight capacity. Hardtops over the helm and passenger area protect from UV, wind, and rain, and also permit installing isoglass for 3-season boating. The ultimate flying bridge is fully enclosed for 4-season boating. Usually, this means that the lower helm will be eliminated, creating more living space below. On larger boats, it can become what is called a sky lounge, with what amounts to a second salon, with wet bar and many amenities. Well, that's our look at the major aspects of flying bridge boats that consumers should be considering before buying. Be sure to see our other videos on express cruisers and motor yachts. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.